If you spend enough time on the internet, you will occasionally find a CEO of the company who would take a shoe of his right or left foot and shove the entire aforementioned foot all the way up in their mouth as they do an interview about their product and the future plans of their company. And that is exactly what this handsome and distinguished gentleman here, Sudesh Nair, who is the CEO of one of the leaders in a BI space companies called ThoughtSpot. So in this interview, Sudesh said something that I find a little bit controversial. He literally said the following: I want to kill BI and I want all dashboards to die. Let me read the entire quote because I think it's so breathtaking that it deserves to be read in full. I really want to kill BI because if BI is a dashboard, I want all of them to die. It's like the rear view mirror in the car. You use it once in a while, but if you are always driving looking in the rear view mirror, it's a recipe for disaster. You want to look through the windscreen, and ThoughtSpot is a windscreen. We don't just try to answer what questions, we answer the what if and what next questions. Naturally, when one of the leaders in BI says that I want to kill BI, that sparks an interest on my part. So I gave this article a chance and I read it a couple of times. First time just because I couldn't stop, because I couldn't believe how, try to find like a politically correct word here, let's say silly this gentleman is, how little understanding of the various space in which his company is competing in he has. Then I read a couple more times because I couldn't believe that I couldn't find a single point in this article that I would agree with. And having read it a couple of times, maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 times, I decided that maybe it warrants a little bit of my time to record this video and maybe a little bit of your time to watch this video and maybe have a laugh, maybe have a different perspective on things, maybe a little bit of both. I will link the article in the description of this video. So it's not very long, and again, it's kind of funny. But if you are too lazy to read it, let me summarize it and I'll do the best I can. Basically, what Sudesh says is the following. He says that COVID-19 has destroyed the BI industry and the way most companies run their business. He claims that all of the historical data is no longer relevant, and he is crystal focused on hyper personalization. So in his world, dashboards suck because you're looking at things in aggregate, and the devil is in the details. And he is all about hyper personalization and focusing on the individual details. Even though ThoughtSpot is featured by Gartner in the BI quadrant, I believe, I don't think it's a leader yet, but hopefully getting there. ThoughtSpot CEO does not think that the product is a BI product. It thinks of itself, it thinks of the product as a Google for numbers. And where Google delivers words to you, he thinks that ThoughtSpot is different from Google in fact that it delivers facts instead of numbers. So what is so cool about ThoughtSpot is that what it can do is it allows you to search enterprise data, again, with hyper-personalized questions. Not sure what hyper-personalized questions are. And then what it does, it not only comes back with some answers, it also suggests questions. For example, and the way it does it is obviously by using AI, artificial intelligence. And here's an example that he gives us. For example, you're interacting with the search interface, and at some point the interface might come back and say, hey, if you do X, did you know that you will get 25% more hits from New York City? Now that's pretty crazy, right? That AI can just guess the kind of questions that I would want to be able to know about. It also knows by looking at my cities. For example, I have a bunch of different data sets, and somewhere it's called NYC. Sometimes it'll say New York. Sometimes it'll say New York City. ThoughtSpot is super cool by being able to harmonize data on the fly and find data at the proper grain on the fly. I assume that's what it does. The other thing that it does that's really cool is that in the early days, ThoughtSpot realized that databases were very slow. So what they did initially, they inserted a high-performance caching layer in between the database and application. But now they got cool because on-premise databases were not fast enough. So what they're doing now is they're shifting to cloud data warehouses such as Snowflake and Redshift, because those data warehouses deliver performance elastically, something that on-premise appliances obviously are not able to deliver. And then Nair spends quite a bit of time giving us his brilliant insight on what businesses should be doing to maximize their profits and find opportunity. And he talks about customer churn as one of the business problems that he wants to tackle. So imagine you're a customer that gets a charge from the bank because the customer was late with the payment, or you were late with the payment. You got pissed off and you take your mortgage and go to another bank. So bank just lost the customer. And if the bank knew that you're pissed off and this happened, bank could do something about it, and that's a huge business opportunity for the customer. Therefore, where dashboards show me how many people have missed the payment, it's not useful. I want to focus on that one user. Tell me everything about that one user, Nair says. So, is BI really dead or should be dead? Do we really want to kill all the dashboards? Are they no longer useful and valuable? Did COVID-19 completely destroy usefulness of all of the historical data? According to the CEO of ThoughtSpot, those are true statements. I happen to use my experience to disagree with him on pretty much every single point that he makes in this interview. Now, what is really scary is when we see a CEO of one of the leaders in the BI space demonstrate a complete lack of understanding of what BI is and what dashboards are for and what space his product is competing with the traditional BI offerings. There are many definitions of BI, business intelligence, and I will offer you mine. I'm not saying that this is the only one and the one that makes more sense, but it's the one I like, and it goes like this. Business intelligence tools are tools that allow us to take various types of data, structured and unstructured, convert it to information, and then allow us to analyze this information, and then assist us to make decisions and act on the decisions that we made. It's very possible that the CEO of ThoughtSpot defines BI a little bit different, because if our definitions were the same, then clearly nothing that happened in the business world with COVID-19 has negated any of the definitions that I mentioned before. Did the patterns change with COVID-19? Of course they did. Do we still need to take a lot of different data, mash it up, harmonize it, and make it available for analysis? Do we still need to create calculations? For example, if I have budget and actual, do I still need to create variance to budget? Do people not create forecasts in COVID-19 times? They may not be good forecasts, but I don't know of any business who stopped forecasting. Do we not do analysis? Do we not look at trends? Do we not make decisions? I think everything that we use business intelligence for in pre-COVID era, we're still using today, and we still will use it today. Laws of physics did not stop in COVID-19 times. Same thing with business intelligence. Business intelligence is a set of best practices and skills and tools that allow us to work with information. And that has no bearing on COVID-19. Now, This gentleman here also hates dashboard. And the reason he hates dashboard is because A, they give you structure to how you're looking at the data, and B, they don't provide the hyper-personalization. Now again, we might be arguing about definitions. When I think of a dashboard, I think of a tool that brings together a lot of different types of data, right? So if I'm a CEO, I might be looking at my HR data, finance data, R&D. I might be looking at my market share. I might be looking at macroeconomic indicators, right? So a CEO might be looking at a lot of different factors, and those factors will come together in a dashboard and help me understand what's important, what's not important today, which key performance indicators are trending positively or negatively, and where in my business and who in my business I need to be talking to address some issues that might have come up. COVID-19 did not negate that. Now, I know a lot of customers that use ThoughtSpot and they love it. And I think that that is a good product. Does it replace dashboards? No. Does it replace reports? No. Can it enhance and supplement dashboards and reports? Of course. Can it be a good component of my BI landscape? I think so. However, when the CEO of the product so blatantly does not understand the very space where his product is participating in, it raises a lot of questions. Think about the example that he used. If you do X, then your clicks will go up by 25% in New York. In order to come up with this recommendation, he's highlighting that they're using artificial intelligence. Does artificial intelligence need historical data to come up with that recommendation? Is it possible for your product to recommend that I spend something on X or Y without me feeding that historical data into your product? I think the answer is pretty clear. So to summarize, it was a really disappointing article to read, really enlightening in a sense that you get to see how the CEO, A, thinks about his product, B, thinks about the industry in which his product is a part of, and C, thinks about the macroeconomic situation that affects the industry and his product. And this is a good example of a CEO that couldn't have been more wrong. Hope you guys can find and check out that article in the description of this video. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm not bashing ThoughtSpot. Every time I hear ThoughtSpot customers talk about the product, it's a positive review, it's a positive feedback. So I in no way, shape, or form am I trying to say that ThoughtSpot as a product is no go. However, this is a good example of the CEO that lives in an alternate universe, and I think you guys will enjoy this article from that perspective. I know this video is a little bit different. You're not seeing a whole lot of decks and not a whole lot of Power BI. You're going to see more and more of these sprinkled here and there in my channel. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and hopefully you will find these articles to be entertaining, as I think this field is lacking a critical analysis and highlighting some of the ridiculous stuff that are, sites like this or Information Week or CIO Magazine are publishing. So I will be looking at some of those. I'll be looking at some of the stuff that's that we can find in mainstream media like New York Times. So I hope you will find these articles interesting, and please come back again for more. Thank you. Bye.